I don't know why I think I'm about to be filming another video when I haven't even posted the last two. It's September 25th. It's a Tuesday. It has been over 1 week since I made a video, and that's kind of an issue. But it's fine. So on Monday the 17th, I started out my day by going to this session called Don't Be a Tourist with the other international students, and basically they're a group that like puts together little day trips for international students to go together so you can kind of look around the area and explore, but you don't have to go by yourself, which is kind of nice because the places are just a little bit far, and while I don't mind traveling by myself, it's certainly nice to like find a group of people that you're comfortable with and can travel with and share the experience. So I've gotten to know a lot of international students the past week because that's kind of who I got put in with. I didn't have an induction for my course, which is like my major. I just kind of got thrown in with the other international students, and we all kind of had our inductions together, and inductions here last an entire week, so I had plenty to do. But anyways, so I'll be visiting Liverpool, Lake District in North Yorkshire with a group of international students who I've all gotten to know pretty well by this point. I'm actually going to London with 2 of them this weekend, so that should be fun. And that's not a tour group or anything, that's just kind of an independent adventure. After that session, we had our real induction, which was just kind of like us all sitting together and them talking at us. It didn't really take that long though, and one of my leaders for that induction was actually an exchange student from Leeds Beckett to Towson last year. So that was kind of interesting. And also, you get to go around the room and like meet people from all different countries. I also took a tour of City Campus. City Campus is where I am currently. Headingley Campus is about 30 minutes away by the bus. So that was a little terrifying at first, but I've gotten pretty used to the bus system by now, and I even get a student discount, of course. But I toured around City Campus, and there's buildings kind of scattered all around here, but the one that I go to the most is called the Rose Bowl. That's where all my induction stuff was, and I actually have a class there, I think. The other one is called the Leslie Silver Building, and it's kind of like 4 buildings shoved into one, and like our student union is there too. There's a coffee shop there, the library's in there, so it's all kind of like shoved together. There's some other buildings too, but those are kind of course specific, so I only need to worry about the 2 buildings. But I toured around and learned how to use the printers, and we even have laptop rentals, which is kind of nice. So the next day I woke up early to go to Headingley campus and do the tour of that campus. We did a lot of the sports facilities, which there's a lot of sports facilities there. There's like a pool and a tennis court and cricket and rugby and all that fun stuff. But we didn't do the buildings as much. There's a lot of buildings on Headingley campus, and you really only need to go to them if you have like a class there. There's nothing like super interesting happening in any of the buildings, and at this one, a student union is kind of its own building, and it has a thrift store in it, which I haven't checked out yet because it's not open, but it sounds kind of fun. And also there was kind of like a hangout room, and they had a tea party for the new students, so I got tea and cake, and some of the international students that I had already met were there, so we kind of got to get to know each other a little bit better. After that, I went to the Leeds Art Gallery and kind of looked around. It was really interesting because there's a lot of contemporary pieces, which I don't normally find at art museums. You know, in like cities usually you'll find like a mix of time periods, but this was mostly contemporary art, which was good. I liked it a lot. There was like some neon work and some interesting conceptual work, and it was also connected to a library, and the building itself was actually like a piece of art. Like there was some really fascinating mosaic work, and it was just like very grand, and it was like a cool place to be in. Nothing on Wednesday really applied to me. There's something called Erasmus here, which is specifically for European students who are studying abroad in England, so that didn't apply to me, so I kind of just had a day in my dorm. I had been out so much ever since I got here, every single day, so I kind of just chilled at home and watched Netflix and cleaned my room because it was a disaster. So that day wasn't too eventful. I just kind of stayed at home, and it was like much needed day. And then Thursday was super busy because the school decided we needed another induction, and this one was kind of more relevant to like Tier 4 visa students, so it was more information pertaining to your visa and what you need to do so that the British government knows that you're actually gonna be here doing what you need to do. And that entails me having to pick up a paper copy of my schedule every week, get it signed by all my teachers, and then turn it back in at the end of the week, and repeating that process until I leave here. So that's kind of annoying, but I mean, what's one more thing at this point? And then after that they had a little skit about culture shock and terrified us all that will all spiral into some sort of depression, so can't wait for that. After that, I kind of had some time to get myself together before the international welcome party happened, and that was an absolute blast. There were hundreds of students from all across the world in our student union, and our student union's very nice. They serve hot food there, and there's like a bar there, several pool tables, there's a stage, plenty of seating. So all these international students are there, and they're singing karaoke. I sang Womanizer by myself, and then I sang Chandelier with a girl from Finland, which was really cool. And I just kind of met people from all over the world. Like, I have friends from America, India, France, Sweden. It was just a really cool experience. And then of course we all went dancing afterwards, and we had a great time. And a lot of the friends that I currently have are international because I haven't really had a chance to meet the other British people yet, because I've kind of been kept in this little melting pot, which has been really nice actually. I really enjoyed that, and that's not something that I really expected was going to happen when I came here, but I'm kind of glad that I've had all this time to spend with people from all over the world. It's been really valuable. So Friday was an interesting day. I got up early to go to a class that didn't apply to me, but I didn't know it didn't apply to me. But after that I went to the International Students Club, which was kind of sketchy because it was kind of like an undercover church club, and my friends and I didn't realize that until we had some pretty interesting get-to-know-you questions, and we were kind of like, out of here. And then we got Chinese food, and it was really nice. It did rain, but you know, that's England. But after we ate our Chinese food, we went to one of the big malls here. There's like a ton of malls, but we went to the store called Primark, which is kind of like it's like a Macy's, but everything is like super cheap. And I went there and I got a cool beret and a dress, and then we went to Argos, which is like this terrifying future store where you order something out of a magazine and then they like get it from this warehouse of mystery in the back. And then we went to a Sports Direct, which is like a discount sports store, and then we all kind of parted our ways. But that was really fun because it was like one of my little knit groups of international students, and we're kind of spread out. Like in that group I also had people from Indonesia and Singapore and China, which was really cool. On Saturday I woke up and went to a kilo sale with my roommate. So basically it was like a pop-up thrift store kind of, and we went into this big room in the student union, and it was packed with like everything. Like, I found the coolest black leather jacket there, but it was super heavy, so I didn't want to get it. But I did get a really big yellow raincoat to match my yellow rain boots, and a comfy sweater because my roommates keep telling me you're gonna need the jumpers. So I stocked up, I had them. And then afterwards we went to a little carnival outside of our building, which was kind of like our building's way of giving us our safety training in a fun way. And there were little tents set up, and they had like a little cocktail van on wheels. I wasn't really feeling that at 3 p.m, so I just stuck with some British candy. I got Millions and Bonbons, which are apparently like British classics that I had to try, and they're actually pretty good. They're kind of like just sweet candy, kind of, and they're kind of chewy, and they're fruit flavored. So those were good, and that was fun. And we also got some freebies like water bottles and tote bags and like that kind of thing. We all came back in from the carnival, and my roommate introduced us all to this show called The Circle, which is like a British sitcom where everyone's on this social media platform and you don't know like who's genuine and who's a catfish, and you have to like vote on the most popular player. We're like very hooked on this show. It is pretty good. We have actually sat down and like watched it several times, and it's like our flat bonding activity, and I love it. It's great. And the other night, I can't remember which night, but one night my two roommates decided that it was finally time to show me this reality show called Love Island, and apparently it's kind of like Jersey Shore, but like, is it 5 girls and 6 boys go to this like big house, and if you're not in a couple by the end of this time period, then you get sent home. And we got 2 large pizzas and a bunch of other stuff from Domino's of all places, and we just kind of like sat on the couch and had a movie night, and it was great. So Saturday, I went on a trip to Kirkstall Abbey with all the international students, and it's this little ruined castle just a few minutes out of town, so it's just a short little bus ride. And the castle, well, it's a cathedral, is in ruins. Not complete ruins, but there's definitely a lot left to the imagination, which is cool because it's kind of fun to explore places like that. But we got to look all around the outside, and we got to go inside, and there were a couple little rooms still intact that you could look in. There is actually a road through the church at one point in Leeds history, but not anymore. Now it's just a really big park where families can go and enjoy the day. After that, we did a little walk across a river, saw some British dogs, and then headed back to the city. And I just kind of chilled out here until it was time for my flatmates and me to go on a pub crawl, and it was a blast. Don't worry, I didn't go crazy or anything. I just had a really good time walking around Leeds with my friends. So yesterday was actually the first day of classes for most people, but not me. Sis had one more day of free time to spend to herself, so what I did was get up kind of late because I was still super tired, and then I walked down to Leeds Bridge, which is actually where it is believed that the first movie ever was filmed, outside a window looking down to Leeds Bridge. But Leeds Bridge is actually under construction, so I couldn't actually get that great of a view while I was on it, but I did go a few blocks down and get some nice pictures of it. It's really pretty. It's got some like blue ornate work that makes it really stand out in the city. Although Leeds is a very bright city and it has like rainbows everywhere. It's so gorgeous, even the buildings. It's a nice city. After that, I went to the Tetley, which is a very old brew house now converted into an art space. So there is the bottom floor, which is basically a bar where they still serve Tetley's beer, and of course I had a pint of Tetley's. How could you not? And then I went up a floor and looked at the contemporary art gallery, which is honestly some of the strangest art that I have ever seen. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh, this avant-garde art, like, I did not understand it at all, but it was super cool. It was like after laughter, but like terrifying. And then the next floor up was this like big grand meeting room that definitely looked like it did not belong in this strange abandoned warehouse art gallery. But it was really nice and I enjoyed my time there. I walked back home, I made myself some dinner. What did we have that night? Who can even remember? But I'm pretty sure that we ended the day by watching The Circle, which is just like the best way to end my day now. Watching The Circle with all my flatmates, curled up in a little blanket and ready for a new day of adventures. I have to say that today was not my best day. I ended up going to Headingley campus at 8 in the morning for a meeting that really didn't have information that pertained to me, and then I was stuck there the whole day because I had a class at 3 p.m. But I can't say that it was all bad because I did wander around the surrounding area a little bit. and there's a church there called St. Chad's, and I was like, oh, it would be fun to explore this little church. So I went and I looked around. You couldn't really go inside, but you could look around the perimeter. So I went into the graveyard and found this like little gate that had a tiny little path, and I was like, you know what? I've got 4 hours to kill. I'm gonna go in that little gate. When I got into the gate, it was this like tiny wooden path, kind of like a deck, like you could definitely tell it was a path. And I started walking down, but then the path just dropped off and it was woods. And it was like 3 paths. One this way, and this way. So it's like, I'm feeling like I want to go to the right today. So I did, and the path just got like a little smaller, but you could still tell that people had definitely walked on this path before. And I just kept on walking, and I was like, man, I wonder where this is gonna take me. And I walked, and I finally emerged into civilization, and I was on Headingley campus. I was like, what? So then I retraced my steps, because I was like, now I have to see where the other paths are gonna take me. So I took the one that went straight, and it took me into Beckett Park, which is this little park right next to Headingley campus. That you can actually probably walk to find the bus stop, but it's gonna be a really long walk. And there's a little playground and a skate park, and I had actually explored that area a little bit too, because it was kind of just like a nice little park, a couple trees, some dogs in there, the good stuff. But anyways, I went back and I was like, now I have to try the last path. And that path actually took me really close to where my bus stop is. So now I just get to have an enchanted forest walk to class every time I go to Headingley campus. And who can argue with that? Definitely not me. I could argue with the fact that I got there at 8 AM, but not with the enchanted forest. Never. From 3 to 4, I had a lecture, so I went into your typical classroom and just kind of listened to the guy talk about digital visual effects things. So from 4 to 6 was my tutorial, and that's basically where they like one-on-one teach you how to do something. So I went into this big computer lab in another building, like we all picked up and migrated to this little computer lab, and we had this tutorial of visual effects. So you had to like key this little animal onto this little car, and it was so hard, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was like, why can't I do this? Oh my god, stressful day. And then the professor turned out to be super nice and helpful and was like, you'll be fine, look at this material, you can do it. And I was like, thank you so much. So today I tried to key something. It didn't go that well, but hopefully it will get better by my next assignment, which is 40% of my grade due November 11. I'll let you know how that goes. But I got home at 7:30 and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make me some Thai peanut sauce. And I did, and it was really good. And then I watched The Circle, and now I'm talking to you. It's already been an eventful week. So I'm sure by the time we get to the weekend, if I remember to film this weekend, I'll have so much more to tell you, because I have 2 more modules, classes, coming up to tell you about. I have writing for broadcast media, and I also have my English class, Literatures of the Romantic Period, so I am ready to go experience those at a reasonable hour when I'm supposed to be there. I'll see you this weekend, hopefully. No, I'll see you this weekend, and I'll update you on how this past week has went and what new adventures I'm on. So see you then, bye!